Good afternoon. It is 1 o'clock. I'm Joseph Bonanno, live from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. Happy legal tampering period for all those who celebrate. Free agent left tackle Dan Moore Jr. agreed on a 4-year, $82 million deal with the Titans as they jump into free agency. That deal includes $50 million in guarantees and will pay Moore $50 million over the first 2 years, including $30 million in year one. In other free agency deals today, former Detroit Lions cornerback Carlton Davis has agreed to a 3-year, $60 million contract with the Patriots. Former Jets offensive tackle Morgan Moses is staying in the AFC East, signing with the Patriots on a 3-year, $24 million deal. Quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo back to the Rams on a 1-year deal. Jags signing quarterback Jordan Lewis to a 3-year, $30 million deal. And the Lions signing former Jets cornerback DJ Reed to a 3-year, $48 million contract. For your foundation repair, whatever you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. And the Tennessee Titans, as said by producer Joseph, who's hanging out with us today. This is from Adam Schefter, ESPN sources. Former Steelers left tackle Dan Moore reached an agreement today on a 4-year, $82 million deal that includes $50 million guaranteed with the Tennessee Titans. The deal includes $30 million in cash will be paid out in year one, and $20 million will be paid out in cash in year two. It is an overpay. There's no way around it. Now, listen, in this market, sometimes you have to overpay for a tackle, Blaine. It's because a lot of tackles do not hit free agency. But as was pointed out to me, and as I double checked, he is tied for 8th in per year salary at the left tackle position. You're talking about Jordan Mailata, Jake Matthews, Andrew Thomas, Laramie Tunsil, Christian Darrisaw, Trent Williams, and Tristan Wirfs are the only left tackles getting paid higher than him in terms of average annual salary. And he was, as I said, guaranteed, supposedly, according to this, $50 million at signing, which has him tied with 3rd for when Laramie Tunsil signed his 3-year extension. So they obviously assume that this former 4th-round pick, that was one of the worst left tackles last year in the NFL in terms of pressure rate allowed and sack rate allowed, that struggles against premier pass rushers,
speed rushers,
is worth this amount of money. And to me, this is kind of the point where we talked about on Friday. If someone wants to pay, if you want to be in on Dan Moore, be in on Dan Moore. Now, you needed to have a better limit. And Chad Brinker, according to Adam Schefter, negotiated this deal, so we at least know directly who to pin the blame on if this doesn't pan out. Because people right now, Blaine, I'm gonna let me just get your thoughts. What are your initial thoughts?
You
want me to keep going? Because I can keep going.
Yeah, go ahead. I can.
So the people,
I'm trying to. Man, my chest is starting to hurt, man. I'm getting nervous that. Man, I hope these guys know what they're doing.
So the people in the
this
chat
one here, man, this is a little baffling. I can't.
So people in the chat are saying, "Well, this fixes both left and right tackle." Why? Does it? He's not very good. He's not that much better. Like, listen to this. I want y'all to listen to this.
Well, I can't say I understand this.
I understand what they're doing.
The thought process. Yeah, now that makes a lot of sense.
I just don't know if I do it with this particular player.
Right, and that is the question. And we shall see on the field. I mean, in all honesty, his grades, run blocking grades were a little bit better than J.C. Latham's. He has the length. He has the athleticism. It's just when he had those elite guys, I think he gave it the most sacks. I think 12 sacks this past season. He plays in a division where you play the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Browns. So we got to say that, and they all have some elite level players. And against everybody else, he did fairly well.
Well,
according to people who have covered him. But this is still, I thought they overpaid. I guess what happened is they got in a little bidding war here with a couple of the teams, and that kind of bumped it up, and they had already had their plan. They thought they had somebody was right under the little radar there that they could get for a good price, and now they end up spending it. But I'm hoping it works out. When you watch him, it's not he's not a bad player. He's just an average player.
You are way overpaying for average player, and this is not the year to maybe pay a guy that struggles with premier pass rushers. Because everybody's like, well, these came against, the elite guys. Okay, well, this year he's playing Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa, Jared Verse, Will Anderson Jr., Daniil Hunter, Josh Allen Hines, Khalil Mack, Leatu Latu, maybe Joey Bosa, Eric Armstead, Chase Young, Tuli Tulipoto, Nick Bonito, Carl Granderson. Max Crosby. There are a ton of players that are coming over, and some of these, and there may be some more players to be added. Cam Jordan. I look at it and I go, if you worry about a guy that struggles and you're like, well, he only really struggles against premier pass rushers, and one of those guys, Myles Garrett. Well, they played Cleveland already twice.
Well, let's don't even talk about the Texans, who they play twice.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They play the Cleveland this year, Cleveland next year. So while you're paying $50 million guaranteed over the first 2 years to this player, he still has to play Myles Garrett both years. He still has to play Will Anderson Jr., Daniil Hunter, Josh Allen.
But we got Bill Callahan, though.
Well, that's my other thing is okay, I said last week, much respect to Bill Callahan, but this is the guy that thought he saw something in Leroy Watson and Jerron Christian and NPF. This is a guy that if you go and look at the history of who he's done the best with, it's been with first-round picks. We got a fourth-round pick on our hands. And
yeah,
again,
A&M. I had to go look him up, because I don't know all these offensive linemen. I started watching some highlights and doing a lot of research on them, man. Man, you see, to be honest, the potential that he just shows some inconsistency here, and maybe that's where Bill Callahan can come in and fix some of the little things that he needs to work on technically.
And maybe you're right. Maybe it's the high floor, I guess, because instead of starting out with NPF, Leroy Watson and Jerron Christian, maybe you're seeing a lower floor.
What is he, 26?
He's 26 or 27.
Okay. Yeah. So,
and if my problem is that when you look at plays. So look at these pass plays. Let's take out plays that don't have play action. We're talking true pass sets.
One-on-one.
No play action, no screens, no rollouts, time to throw between 2 and 4 seconds, so no scrambles and all that kind of stuff, and with more than a 3-man rush, so 4-man rush, so 3-man rushes. So 3-man rushes, okay? He has 10.5% pressure rate, a 2.8% sack rate. In that same situation, J.C. Latham had a 1.4% sack rate and 11% sack rate. The right tackles over there, all the right tackles that they played, 13.3% and 3.2% sack rate. So he's better than the right tackles. But when you move over J.C. Latham, you're only improving marginally. If that is the plan, if the plan is to put Dan Moore at left tackle and J.C. Latham at right tackle, you improve what you had last year just marginally. But you're not paying to improve something just marginally. This guy's getting paid like a top 10 left tackle in the league. He has to perform like a top 10 left tackle in the league.
Right, which means you're not giving him any help the majority of the time.
He gets no grace immediately coming in here.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I think that's what happened. They got into a bidding war. I think they thought they could get somebody right under the little radar there, and other teams looked at him the same way. So obviously teams value him, and that's how we got to where we're at as far as the pay.
Yeah.
The question would have been, okay, what was your plan B, and should you have averted and said, we can't go that high? And what would have been the plan B, since you can tell now that they already had in their mind they wanted to move Latham to right and bring in a left tackle, and now they eliminated 2 spots not needed in their eyes, or one, they kind of combined them. So I get the thought process. I kind of actually like that part. I just thought, they overpaid, but hopefully he does show up, because man, at A&M, and then you watch him a little bit more he's got some dog in him. You see it with the Steelers. You just want to be a little more consistent. A little bit is more about the hand placement. He has the perfect length and size and all those things. But when he gets his hands out there, a lot of guys use that against him. His length of his arms to do a lot of these karate chops and spins and everything else off of him. And they really want him to do that. And then he gets off balance a little bit. So, man, this was a risky one. But I'm hoping Bill Callahan helps him out of that.
Well, let's hope.
That's all I could say. Other than that, man, this is a tough
I talked
one
about
here,
this yesterday on Twitter before the meltdown today. Is that okay? You know, because people are like, well, oh, Nick Bolton's gone, and all these inside linebackers are off the market. They got paid a bunch of money. Well, that's not where the Titans really need to be spending their money right now. Is inside linebacker, is because at some point, draft and develop has to be remembered during even free agency, and they drafted 2 linebackers last year. It's time for them. It's time for the coaches to earn their money,
and the players,
and the players, obviously. But it's time for the coaches to make sure that hey, draft and develop is a big part of it. We've been touted as teachers and coaches, some of the best at our job, and it's time for Frank Bush to develop. It's time for Bill Callahan to develop. And if he's not able to, if he's just only as good as the pedigree of the player, then you got to make changes. This team, because Buck reported this morning that this team is eyeing Mac Jones and Zach Wilson. You put those guys back here behind this offensive line, it's just as bad as what you got last year. I'm sorry. But and I know people are like, well, this just means that Cam Ward is, the guy, right? Like Cam Ward is the guy. Okay, well, you're going to put a rookie that can make mistakes while under pressure, that his stats considerably get way worse under pressure behind 2 guys that allow a lot of pressure, the most at tackles. These 2 guys are in the top 10 of pressures allowed last year. J.C. Latham and Dan Moore. This is not a recipe for success, and I understand that there's a lot to like about Dan Moore.
How are they not looking at these metrics? What
I don't know. And again, there's a lot to like about Dan Moore.
Oh yeah,
but I can't go in with blind faith that this is going to work, because what has been proven to me over the years is that the Tennessee Titans just don't have that kind of luck. Right? I mean, like, they don't.
This is true.
They don't have that kind of luck. I mean, they signed Andre Dillard, traded for Dennis Staley, and all this kind of stuff. Last year, they thought they could get by. This same staff that is telling you that Dan Moore is worth the money thought that NPF was worth the playing time, Leroy Watson was worth the playing time, Jerron Christian was worth a chance on, and then they put out there John Ojukwu and Jalen Duncan. This is the same coaching staff that thought that is telling you, trying to get you to buy into Dan Moore. Listen, I am 100% in on wait and see.
Yeah.
But if I'm being asked my opinion, which is why I have a radio show, I do not like this signing, and I definitely do not like the money tied to this signing.
Yeah, I could agree with the price. This is escalating. That's what happens in free agency. And I don't think they had a plan B, because there were other options out there. Now, they may have been taken, so then they may have been forced to continue to rise and say, we got to take this guy. We got to give the best offer with the competitors that are out there. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. But, so I'm just hoping and praying that he plays to that level of the contract, because you see it a lot of the time. But then, man, when he plays the elite players.
And you don't do a contract like that without at least heavy input or influence from Bill Callahan, right?
Absolutely. You definitely. Now, that doesn't mean that they agree on the same accord.
Right.
But this was the best guy, so he has to go, okay, do you think you can coach this out of him, what he did against some of these elite guys? And everybody has at least one pass rusher, except for the Titans.
Yeah, that's true. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone. When we come back, we'll catch you up with a lot of signings that happened while we were talking about Dan Moore. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons, 105 The Zone.
For many of you who have lived here a long time, you already know Eurofix has been in Middle Tennessee area for your European car repair needs now for 26 years. And we've all gotten to watch them grow. And I don't know about you, but I love watching a hometown business take off. Well, we are now proud to announce the 5th location in Mount Juliet for Eurofix on Mount Juliet Road, right across the street from Dairy Queen. And Eurofix can serve you in Franklin, Hundred Oaks, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and now Mount Juliet. Pretty cool getting to watch a small town mechanic starting in the barn of his backyard of a single wide trailer and now grow to 5 locations repairing thousands of cars each month. And at Eurofix, you get a 3-year nationwide warranty and a free loaner car with every repair appointment. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX, or you can visit them online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com. But always tell them Blaine said you.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by all four C's of Garage Doors, 615-737-1045. You want to get in on the conversation. What do you think of the Tennessee Titans free agency so far? Keandre Coburn. And, Morgan Cox. And who else?
Otis Reese.
Otis Reese. That's who I was missing. And Dan Moore. So that's their free agency legal tampering period, quote unquote legal tampering period. Phase 1, wave 1 signings so far.
They knew those players, so they were on the team.
Players.
So I mean, those are all quality signs. I mean,
but it's funny to me, Blaine. We got people that were complaining about us talking about Dan Moore into the chat, and in the F&M Bank chat on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live. Those always are my favorite chat remarks, like when we're talking about the Tennessee Titans, like we're talking about Will Levis, or we're talking about Sam Darnold, or we're talking about this in the realm of Tennessee Titans. What do they think they're tuning into? This is a Tennessee Titans flagship radio station. Like, I mean, this is what we got to talk about the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, acting like we cover the Titans. I don't. Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, speaking of, listen, if they don't want us to talk about the Tennessee Titans, let's tell you what some other teams are doing around the league. The Patriots, according to Michael Silver, the Patriots swoop in and land former Eagles defensive tackle Milton Williams. He got a huge payday. Carlton Davis has gotten a huge payday. Morgan Moses also went to the Patriots, and Robert Spillane. Whoo, they have paid some people.
So I have all their numbers.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Milton Williams got $26 million per year. The years are still to be determined. Harold Landry, that was over the weekend, got a 3-year, $43.5 million deal. Robert Spillane, 3-year, $37.5 million deal. Carlton Davis, 3-year, $60 million deal. Morgan Moses, 3-year, $24 million deal. So almost over $200 million in money right there the Patriots have signed in the last couple days.
Yeah, that is insane. Like, I mean, they have the cash and they have the cap space. They have one of the highest cap space. So they had one of the worst rosters in the NFL. So I'm not surprised that they're doing this. I'm just kind of surprised by some of the names. I mean, Robert Spillane is good, but is he, 3-year, $37.5 million good? I don't think he's ever earned that much in his entire career so far. Like, I mean, that's kind of insane.
It was a nice find, though, and then he's done well at other places.
And it looks like
Raiders and the Steelers.
Some breaking news.
That was a lot up there.
Breaking news.
The Titans?
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Breaking NFL news. This is from Adam Schefter. ESPN sources former Vikings quarterback Sam Darnold reached agreement today on a 3-year, $110.5 million contract, including $55 million guaranteed, which is exactly what I thought he was going to get paid.
With who?
With the Seattle Seahawks. I said that.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
No,
I read it right here.
You missed it.
You missed the Seahawks. Yes,
I said it. Y'all just didn't listen to me.
No,
Yeah,
you just
that's
didn't.
what happened.
To the Seahawks. So there you go. So get ready to learn Mac Jones, everybody.
Or Zach Wilson.
Or Zach Wilson.
Jeremy Fowler came out with that little nugget Friday, but kind of backed it up earlier today on his show. It makes me think that Cam Ward at number 1 overall is trending a little bit more likely, but you never know.
So there you go. $110.5 million over 3 years, which puts him at 36.8, so almost 37, which is kind of where we thought he was going to be. So no big, surprise there. Yes.
With a domino that Smith was traded
huge
to the
domino,
Raiders.
obviously.
Are you guys glad the Titans didn't pay that price tag for Sam Darnold?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could be talked into it that it was okay. I mean, like, obviously, you just spend a bunch of money on Dan Moore. You probably can't spend a bunch of money over here on Sam Darnold, too. So, yeah, I think that was about where our breaking point was at for Sam Darnold for the show. I think we had it topped out at $37 million. And even then, we were kind of a little skeptical to even do it there. So, I'm not upset by any means, that he is not a Tennessee Titan. So let him go up to Seattle, who has as one of the worst offensive lines, apparently.
And no
as
wide
well.
receivers.
Yeah, and no wide receivers. No DK Metcalf, no Tyler Lockett. They got Jackson Smith and Jigba and Jake Bobo starting. So there you go. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts, Blaine?
Yeah, well, I mean, do the Titans have some? We have Ridley. Who else we got?
Yeah, we don't.
Oh.
Titans don't have anybody either.
Oh, yeah. Sam Darnold, good for him. I didn't want Sam Darnold for a long-term deal with that kind of price. It was with free agency. I just think we're not in that spot. If we were in the middle of the road like the Seahawks, they were 10-7 last year, then I would have been all in, so, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. That's interesting you say that, Bananas. You talked about how this looks like they're going to draft Cam Moore, which could be true, but just by what the Titans have done? Why do you think they go Cam Moore? They only signed one person.
I'm saying if the report that they're only interested in Mac Jones and Zach Wilson is true, if that's who they're focusing their quarterback market on, is those two guys, you cannot go into the 2025 season with your quarterbacks being Will Levis and either Mac Jones or Zach Wilson.
Oh, I think it's a better than 40% chance it's what they do. Because listen.
You got a veteran cheap backup in Levis.
And you go to look at the Giants situation. If the Giants don't land, they missed out on Sam Darnold. They missed out on Matt Stafford.
So if
they miss out on some other quarterbacks, because Aaron Rodgers is visiting the Steelers. Mm-hmm. So, if their quarterback situation doesn't improve, they're going to be desperate. And if they're that desperate, I do not rule out the possibility of the Tennessee Titans, who have said repeatedly that this is a rebuild. I would not rule out the Tennessee Titans going and trading out of that pick if the Giants blow them away with the trade offer. And if that happens, I don't think they're taking quarterback whatsoever.
And if they don't, then Brian Callahan, they better start looking for another head coach, because there's no way Brian Callahan will be here in 2026.
I said that we'd have to probably start a GoFundMe to get his U-Haul paid for. Because, I look at it and I go...
I'm going to ask you this question. I may not know the answer. Has a coach ever been fired after free agency in the draft?
I don't think so.
Or has left.
No.
Let's say left on their own.
Ooh, I don't know. I can't think of a guy that has done that. But I wouldn't rule it out that maybe somewhere, maybe even if it's like 50 years ago.
Are you saying that the Titans look like, if they don't go after one of those top two quarterbacks in this draft and they stick with, a Will Levis and one of those Mac Jones, Zach Wilson tier of quarterbacks, and that's who they go with in the 2025 season, then Brian Callahan's going to be like, listen, this is going to be a wasted year of my life. Like, why am I even trying here? And he's just going to walk away.
I don't know. Has that ever been done? I don't know.
I would feel...
Hey, listen, I got faith. Listen, Joe Blacko, I wish I had the faith that he did in the YouTube chat. He goes, Callie can make it work with Mac Jones. He's better than Mason Rudolph, right? But again, here's my problem. And this kind of gets into my Titans 10 commandments, but we're saving that for hour 2, is can we not aim higher as a fan base? The people who are like, oh, I love the I would love to have Diami Brown. Guys, he's barely better than Treylon Burks. And I understand that, some people don't want Treylon Burks on this team, but shouldn't we aim higher? Let's aim higher as a society than some of these guys that we're being forced to choose between and try to root for in the coming months. We deserve better after last season. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. We deserve better.
So we just try to go get Winston or Joe Flacco.
We deserve better.
But that's where we're at this point in time. I think it's not appealing. If not, then you have to overpay like we just saw them do with the offensive tackle. We're really in a rebuild mode, and some of these veteran guys are proven. Not unless you overpay, do you get a good
So it was not 110.5. It is actually $100.5 million for Baker Mayfield. So actually...
Sam Darnold.
Sorry, Sam Darnold. So that means he's getting paid slightly more than $33.5 a month or a year.
Yeah.
So now he's literally the Sam Darnold digger. So that's a big difference.
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. God dang, I can't get them all. They're the same guy to me.
They are.
But they're getting paid almost the same.
Actually, they got him on the cheap because that was, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
2 seasons ago?
1 season ago. So one season later, he got $500K more.
Where's the interest there?
Not just 1 season later, literally 365 days later.
Actually,
it was a year to today, March 10th.
So there you go. So there you go.
Yeah, that means he got nuts and bolts. There's interest in this league, and we see what everybody else is getting on the. Yeah.
So that
But
is
that's good
actually
for
a
him.
really good deal.
Yeah, it was.
But we'll see how it goes with the Seattle Seahawks with no receivers and a pretty bad offensive line.
So that Milton Williams, the terms for that deal with the Patriots, it's a 4-year, $104 million deal. He becomes the highest paid player in Patriots franchise history.
Okay, so that's crazy.
At D tackle?
But
At defensive tackle.
But we're talking about markets. We're talking about getting paid. So let's talk about something just real quick. Jeremy Fowler at 12:36 p.m. says safety Javon Holland still available. But among teams expected to have interest during the process are the Panthers, Commanders, Colts, and Titans. On Friday or Thursday night, but heading into the Friday show, we heard from Cameron Wolfe, who reported that as the Panthers and Titans were leading the pack. He wanted 15 to 20 million is where they think that number is going to be. Now, what's interesting is that one of those teams mentioned, the Panthers, just signed Trevor Mooring, about the same age, same productivity and everything, to a $17 million per year deal. So now a team that was in the Javon Holland sweepstakes pays a safety of similar age, similar production, $17 million, which means that the next person that pays a safety is likely to have to beat that. So the Titans kind of got screwed in the safety market just now.
Well, there's also Bynum there from the Vikings, I think. Oh man, oof. Would you want to pay a safety that amount of money at this point in time?
Well, we were talking, last week, Javon Holland, $15 million a year.
I like him as a player.
I mean, I like him. I mean, so that's kind of why I asked, in this defense, is it worth paying safety that much? I have to see the deal, but if the deal's constructed anyway, like the Dan Moore deal, it's probably going to be an overpay. And I mean, it just is what it is, right? But
to me, that's what Hooker is. He just is not available.
Yeah, I would just re-sign Mike Brown, go bargain bin shopping next week in the safety position and draft a safety. You want to tell me, I'll tell you who I like in this draft right now. Xavier Watts out of Notre Dame. I'd sign him I'd draft him in the second round if they did a trade back or something. I'd probably even draft him at 35.
Well, I don't know if I'd take a safety that high, but Malachi Moore from Alabama is who I would be betting on in the 4th, 5th round. If he's available, that's a no-brainer. Implement him in immediately as the starter.
Darius Slay is going to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
He's a free drafted.
So they're making some moves. They
Where's
traded
he
for
going?
DK Metcalf, and Darius Slay's going to the Steelers, so he does not have to move far from where he's been in Pittsburgh or in Philadelphia. So now he's over at Pittsburgh.
Oh,
So they are making some moves.
so they have 3 receivers now.
Darius Slay, not Slayton.
No, I know, but
George Pickens went to the Steelers. He got traded over the weekend.
DK Metcalf.
My God.
Yeah, you're tripping. That's why I said it's 3 receivers: Pickens, Metcalf, and now it's
I should have had lunch before I got on there.
Oh.
DK Metcalf, George Pickens, and Darius Slay, not Slayton.
Yeah, Slade. So that's 3.
He's the
Darius
cornerback.
Slay's the cornerback from
the
Philadelphia.
corner. Oh, yeah, he was in the
Yeah.
top 10. Yeah, he didn't got very far.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, the
Oh, not
cornerback.
Slade. That's why you said that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so there we go on there. So, it's getting, I mean,
Ooh, I like Slade, though. He's
Yeah.
a solid player. He's a solid player, especially at this point of his career, guy. Used to be in my top 10. I don't know. He's maybe at the bottom of that now.
yeah, probably at this point. I mean, he's probably a little bit further down.
Yeah.
But, going back to just real quick on that Sam Darnold deal, 33 and a half, I guess, per year, whatever it is, the math, that's about on pace for what that's basically, that is the difference between Goff and Tua getting paid. The same kind of contract after one another. So that goes to show you that the NFL's all about its trends, and that is the same growth rate, almost a little bit less than what it went from when Goff got paid in May to what Tua got paid in July of 2024. So to me, just look at the growth rates, and that will get you there for sure. So there you go. You'll be interesting to see what everything else comes out, because obviously the Tennessee Titans, still don't have their quarterback situation hammered out. They still got a big hole over at right guard. Because it doesn't really matter at this point to me whether you're putting Dan Moore at left tackle, right tackle, J.C. Latham, vice versa. Now you got to focus on right guard. They still need a wide receiver. They still need a safety. They don't have to pay a lot for an inside linebacker, but they do need an inside linebacker. They need a between the tackles, thick boy running back. You know, they may need a tight end as well because they only have 2 tight ends on the roster. Like, they still got a lot of holes to fill. I don't think they'll do them all today, obviously, because you still got time. But the Tennessee Titans right now, their biggest move is paying Dan Moore $50 million over the first 2 years of his contract.
Yeah, guarantee you. That I didn't see the Titans in play today at all, to be honest.
Yeah.
So for them to even get to this point, I know I felt like they overpaid, but at least they are movers and shakers. They're in the game. I didn't think they were being in the game. I thought they were going after, veteran guys who can fill holes temporarily, kind of like the Commanders did. Would they have, 12, 15, 1-year guys that are proven in this league that can fill gaps, and then you try to supplement that also with drafting some guys. I thought that was going to be their strategy outside of the quarterback, and then and see where they go. So, hey, they feel like, hey, this guy's good enough to be our starting left tackle. We're going to move our left tackle to right to his original position, at least in college, most of his college career, and we've killed 2 birds with 1 stone there. That's kind of how I view it, and they had to overpay because of the market of other bidders. So it seems like they had no plan B. And maybe
see, that's my question to you.
No other options, I guess.
Is that they've screamed patience over panic. Does this move sound like patience over panic to you?
I haven't scouted him like that. I've just watched some reels today, right before we came in here. So I could say he's solid. So I just don't. There's a whole bunch of players you could say, just because they hit the market, you could say he's really overpaid.
Yeah.
That's what happens in free agency, let alone you're trying to, build
because obviously you also kind of mentioned, no plan B. I mean, I just kind of wonder,
what is their plan? What was their plan B here?
I don't know. And because maybe it was Jalen Moore who just got signed about 30 minutes before then. So Jalen Moore, a perennial spot player for San Francisco, has never been a full season starter. He got paid 2 years, $15 million per year, so $30 million overall by the Kansas City Chiefs, which also seems like an overpay.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, one thing we haven't brought up, because we talked about Mike Berganzi, or we talked about Chad Brinker, we talked about Bill Callahan. The Kansas City Chiefs have kind of had a tough time building an offensive line. So is this more? This kind of feels like maybe it could lead down to more of the same, just with more expensive names attached to it.
Who has done a really good job with offensive line in
Eagles.
the NFL?
I mean, just hands down. I think I like Bill Callahan, but I think they have the best
because they drafted guys in the middle of the round. Naturally, they have some first rounders.
The best guy. Jeff Stoutland is the best offensive line coach, hands down.
Bill Callahan is.
Yeah, Jeff Stoutland.
No, he's not. Yeah. See, so obviously they've made 4th and 5th round guys, even moved your big guy into right tackle. What was the guy?
Mekhi Becton, who's still out there, who you could put him at right guard
now, right?
But put him at right guard.
For the right price?
For the right price.
Ooh, I don't know.
Well, for them, my right price is way different than their right price, apparently.
They're going to go sign Dylan Radins and put him at right guard.
I mean, I'd be fine with it, depending on okay.
I would be
breaking news.
You wouldn't be?
But with who? Well, I'm trying to figure out who it's with because, okay, here we go. Justin Fields to the Jets. This is from Ian Rappaport. The Jets are signing quarterback Justin Fields per him and Tom Pelissero. Gang Green gets a new starter. Fields says goodbye to Pittsburgh after 1 year. He gets a 2-year deal worth $40 million, with $30 million guaranteed in a deal done by David Mugoletta of Athletes First. Woo! Justin Fields got paid, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Holy moly!
I mean, is $20 million a deal really paid for a quarterback in the NFL
of
today?
Justin Fields is ilk? Yes. I mean, that's the thing is like everybody wants to try to look at the deals of quarterbacks that are several tiers above Justin Fields in terms of production, but like that's a lot of money. It's a 2-year span too, and he's getting How much guaranteed did I just say? 30 million.
30 out of the
into-
40.
Yeah, 30 million out of the 40.
I thought that was pretty good. I think he just wanted that same commitment from the Steelers, and he would have stayed there. Imagine this. I love your question there, Bananas, is that he only started like six games last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you think he should be in a 30 million range?
No, that's what
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
where do you think he should be? Because you're fighting with he should be a starter, pay him 10, 11 million stopgap guy, or are you going to commit to him? That's what he wanted from them.
I think what he got is about what he's worth, and that now if you go just by
But you're changing up. You just said
no. I was saying like Zach was saying that's a lot of money. I'm saying like in relative to the rest of the rest of the
right.
quarterbacks in the NFL, not really, and relative to the cap, not really.
But relative to the quarterback, everybody wants to look at it compared to what someone else got paid, when really you should be looking at what is he worth. Is he worth $30 million over 2 years?
He's a former first-round pick with plenty of starts under his belt. He didn't play horribly with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I know, I agree.
He's finished 4-2.
Yeah,
exactly.
And listen,
So-
I agree, but like he's walking into a situation. They're paying this guy that he's able to do something for 2 years and to do something that Aaron Rodgers couldn't. We'll see. We'll see. This is a totally different situation than the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we'll talk about that when we come back. You just told me it was breaking. You're trying to get in the last word. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone.
Struggling with joint pain, suffering from a recent injury, looking to recover faster after surgery? Well, at Edge, we've got you covered. From powerful peptide stacks with BPC 157, TB 500 to PRP treatment, stem cell therapy, and high film muscle stimulation, Edge Peptide is your go-to solution for faster healing and recovery. And as an athlete myself, I know how frustrating pain and injuries can be. And that's why now is the perfect time to take control of your wellness and finally address those nagging issues. Whether it's golf, tennis, or any activity you love, don't let pain hold you back any longer. And Edge specializes in regenerative treatments designed to reduce inflammation, promote tissue repair, and improve mobility, helping your body heal naturally while avoiding surgery whenever possible. And right now, we're offering a free $250 consultation with your initial treatment. And all you have to do is just go to edgepeptide.com. Yes, that's edgepeptide.com. Or you just give them a call today at 615-724-1878. That's 724-1878.
Feels like a Friday here on Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone. I think that's thanks to NFL free agency. As we've talked about, Justin Fields is going to the Jets. Sam Darnold's going to Seattle. That leaves the Steelers, the Giants, and the Tennessee Titans, off the top of my head, needing a number one quarterback of some sort or something to fill the position at quarterback. So we still got Rodgers and Wilson out there as well. We'll see how those dominoes fall now that, do the Giants and Steelers get in a bidding war over Aaron Rodgers? Does the Steelers settle and get Russell Wilson? Do the Titans get screwed out of everything and just have to start Mac Jones? Let's go to Ryan, who wants to talk about the Titans quarterback. Ryan, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
So my only question is, oh my gosh, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Oh, it's my bad. All right. So my question is, it looks like the quarterback market has been pretty bare. It looks like there may be just like one or two quarterbacks left, Darnold and Rodgers. But the main thing is this team has a lot of needs, a whole lot of needs. And I don't think they're a playoff team by any stretch. So you've got so many places on defensive end, safety, linebacker, right tackle, right guard, or left tackle, or whatever, right guard. It just seems like this team may even be 2 years away. So what are your thoughts that maybe they had a plan from the very beginning just to kind of do like the Lions did and really shore up the line and all those other positions before they go after their quarterback? Because it just doesn't seem like the top two quarterbacks in the draft really fit Callahan's style. And I'll hang up and listen. Thanks.
I think there may be something to how they're building, but I would say this, that they got Jared Goff before they started rebuilding that offensive line and all that kind of stuff. So I understand what he's trying to use in Detroit Lions. I would say the Bears are trying to duplicate what they did with Detroit Lions. Oh. They signed Drew Dahlman, a center. 3 linemen. Traded for 2 guards over last week. But they already have their quarterback. And so the Tennessee Titans, still, you can't wait for everything to be perfect to find a quarterback, because everything can be perfect around a quarterback and it still doesn't matter if you don't have a good quarterback.
This is the list of remaining free agent quarterbacks that the Titans could sign: Zach Wilson, Marcus Mariota, Jacoby Brissett, Trey Lance, Taylor Heineke, Drew Lock, Joe Flacco, Jameis Winston, Mac Jones, Mason Rudolph. Now, this is assuming that Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson are off their board, which I'm assuming they are.
Okay, so real quick, let's catch up everybody for some of the signings that happened while we're at break. And not Ryan Tannehill, and give you some other news. So let's do a breaking news drop.
Titans are regular.
I don't care. Whatever one you want. Let's go in order. So earlier I was talking about Jeremy Fowler, who reported that the Commanders, the Colts, the Panthers, and Titans were still interested in Javon Holland. Well, now 2 teams are gone. Obviously, the it just blanked on me.
Panthers.
The Panthers signed Trevor Mooring to a $17 million per year deal. The Colts have now signed former Viking safety Cam Bynum and agreed to terms on a 4-year, $60 million deal, which is $15 million per year. So there you go. So now we got $17 million per year for Trevor Mooring, $15 million for Cam Bynum. So where does Javon Holland fall for now the Commanders and the Titans, the only 2 teams currently reported in his market?
Banana says $16 million.
Well, maybe.
To the Titans.
So now former Colts edge rusher Dayo Odiabingo, or I don't think, did I get that right? I think I got that right.
That was good.
I think that was good. Former Vanderbilt edge rusher is signing with the Chicago Bears. Multiple sources tell NFL on Fox is from Jordan Schultz. Has been also reported the whole way through. It looks like a $16 million per year deal for Dayo, $32 million fully guaranteed for him. And then Paul Kaharski is reporting that the Titans' plan right now is to play Dan Moore at left tackle and move J.C. Latham at right tackle. So they are going to make the move, which was kind of obvious, but it has been confirmed. It's a 3-year, $48 million deal for the Bears and Dayo. So that gets you all caught up currently. So there you go. Go back through that quarterback list one more time.
Give me one second. I got to find it.
But a lot of news, so maybe Javon Holland now falls into that $16 million per year range. So that's something to keep an eye on. Quarterback list.
Zach Wilson, Marcus Mariota, Jacoby Brissett, Trey Lance, Taylor Heineke, Drew Lock, Joe Flacco, Jameis Winston, Mac Jones, Mason Rudolph, and then obviously Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers are also still available, but I'm pretty sure they're out of play for the Titans as of right now. Now, anything could change. Now, I did see a note on X earlier that Jameis Winston has some interest from the Chargers as a potential landing spot, as well as a backup role for the 49ers as a potential landing spot for Winston.
Harbaugh with Winston, because Harbaugh's press conferences get out of control too. He has some weird press conferences and stuff. You know, he goes into like the cold tub in full gear, like his khaki pants and everything. But him and Winston, that would be fun.
That
Think
would be
about
magical.
it. Think about it.
I'm looking at this list, and my first immediate thought
Is
is
to throw up in a trash can?
Oh, God, what in the world? Please help me. And
Yeah.
then my second thought is please draft a quarterback within those first 3 picks.
We'll see. We'll see.
Herbert only threw 3 picks last year.
Who? I'm sorry. What
Justin Herbert for the
Oh, yeah.
And then you know
I
how
saw
many
the
threw in the
stat. I couldn't
playoffs?
believe that. I was like,
You know how many threw in the playoffs?
More than that?
Yep. I'm pretty sure he had a four interception game there in the playoffs.
Yeah. So I look at it and I go, you know, the hope is maybe is there a quarterback they trade? Like, you mean, do you trade for maybe Brock Purdy? Because they're in extension talks. Maybe they don't get to the extension talks. Do you trade for Brock Purdy? Do you trade for Jake Browning? I mean, there are trade scenarios out there.
Nah, but you know what Bananas is thinking? Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
No.
Trade for Hendon Hooker, trade for Joe Milton.
I'm pretty sure the Giants are going to, or not the Giants, the Lions are going to release Hendon Hooker here shortly.
Well, that may be true. That means that you could just sign Hendon Hooker and, you know, if you signed Hendon Hooker and cut Will Levis, that will get fans excited.
Oh, yeah. And then go draft Cam Ward at #1 overall. Then your quarterback room is set.
It's so true, isn't it? I mean, man, fans would go crazy if that happened.
Oh, man.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk more about free agency. We'll constantly keep you
gotta take a
updated.
drink
And
on
we'll
that.
also get to our Titans free agency 10 commandments for fans. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone.
We've got the trucks, all the trims, all the towing, all the bells and whistles, and all at Truck Month Savings. Two Rivers Ford is Ford Truck Central.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Good afternoon. It is 2:01. I'm Joseph Bonanno, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. Titans get in on the free agent action today by signing free agent left tackle Dan Moore to a 4-year, $82 million deal. That includes $50 million in guarantees, including $30 million in year one. And according to reports, the Titans' plan is to play Dan Moore at left tackle and move second-year offensive lineman J.C. Latham over to the right side. In other free agency deals today, the quarterback market starting to dwindle away as former Vikings quarterback Sam Darnold gets off the board with an agreement with the Seahawks on a 3-year, $100.5 million contract, including $55 million guaranteed. Justin Fields also off the board after he reached an agreement on a 2-year, $40 million deal with the Jets. That includes $30 million guaranteed. The Colts are out of the safety market after signing former Vikings safety Cameron Bynum to a 4-year, $60 million contract. And the Patriots swooped in and signed star Eagles defensive tackle Milton Williams to a 4-year, $104 million deal. He becomes the highest paid player in franchise history. In the SEC basketball news, the SEC Men's Basketball Awards were announced. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Zakai Ziegler out of Tennessee. Chaz Lanier won Newcomer of the Year. Janai Broome from Auburn won Player of the Year. In terms of the teams, Zakai Ziegler on the All-SEC first team for the Vols, and Jemai Mashak and Zakai Ziegler both on the All-SEC defensive team. For your foundation repair and waterproof needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045. What do you think about the Dan Moore signing? Who are some players that are still out there that you would like to see? Choose your poison. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, or Mac Jones. What do you want?
Cam Ward. Cam Ward. I'd rather have Cam Ward.
I'm sorry you do not get Cam Ward because you're trading out of the pick.
Not officially. They can still get Cam Ward.
Bananas on to something. Maybe it is showing signs that they're going to just go after Cam Ward, even though, this Moore signing is questionable. But in their minds, obviously, they think they're shoring up their offensive line. And the only things left is, you can draft a guard, or you can even, sign Radens, have a security blanket there for a 1-year deal, whatever it may be. Yeah, man, I love those choices, man. I watch this. Yeah, Mac Jones. I'm going Mac Jones. Man.
Daniel Jones is also still available. He went on the list that Buck tweeted out, but I think the rumors earlier today were that the Vikings were interested, and the Colts were also interested in Daniel Jones.
Yeah, and the reason why I keep saying like Mac Jones or someone of that ilk is because they're in prove-it type deals. Veteran quarterback at this point in time should not even be looking at the freaking Titans. Aaron Rodgers, nobody like that should be looking at the Titans. Why do you want to end your career like that? Did something just happen?
Yes, thank
Breaking
God.
news?
Breaking news.
For the
NFL news. NFL news, not for... Well, kind of, it's Titans adjacent.
Dang it.
Wide receiver Diami Brown to the Jaguars on a 1-year, $10 million deal worth up to $12 million. Oh, thank God he's off the table for the Tennessee Titans. I was really worried he was going to come to the Tennessee Titans.
No, they have NWI. Why would
they don't have NWI.
No, I'm saying their option is NWI.
Yeah.
Why would they go after
you better watch
NWI?
out for that
God,
Vrabel.
I am so glad. That lets me know right there that I was right in my conviction to say that Diami Brown is not going to be worth the money because he's going to the Jacksonville Jaguars who make bad moves all the time. So I'm on. Oh, thank the Lord.
He did have a good year, though.
He barely got
him.
For him.
For him, so this is a
fourth
big deal.
year,
Yeah, so he broke.
So, 2 of his 5 touchdowns came against the Titans in one game.
Yeah, you just made my smile go to. My goodness.
Oh, man.
I'm like, oh, man, he was never good like this until now. What happened? I don't understand how he got so good.
I don't understand this wide receiver market because, why would you pay $10 million to Diami Brown and $10 million fully guaranteed to Tutu Atwell. Those guys have proven that they're not even twos. I don't get it. This is one of these off seasons where I'm just like, man, a lot of people are going to be very disappointed in their return on some of these players.
So is that the going right now for like the third guy? I mean, that's what it seems like.
Well, no, they don't have Christian Kirk. They don't have Zay Jones. So he's currently, if I'm not mistaken about their depth chart, is wide receiver 2 right now. Yeah. All right, we got another safety off the board. Hit it. I like the music. This is from Jordan Schultz. Sources: Broncos are finalizing an agreement with 49ers All-Pro safety Talona Hufanga from the San Francisco 49ers. So he's going to the Broncos. The Bengals are bringing back running back Samaje Perine on a 2-year deal worth up to $3.8 million. He is such a steal. Every time he either goes to the Chiefs or the Bengals or we're in Denver, Samaje Perine is one of those guys that is a steal for his contract every time.
He's a load to tackle, too.
So we'll need to see, because, I mean, obviously former All-Pro Hufanga, we'll need to see what his price is. Now, the Broncos were never reported to be interested in Javon Holland, so we'll see how that affects his space. I want to go back to something real quick in the YouTube chat, because I do love the F&M Bank chat on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live. This comes from Paul on there. He says, lowered expectations in microwave cooking. My new book based on the Tennessee Titans. He says, neither are very good, but they'll still make a turd. Coming to a second-hand bookstore near you, LOL. So there you go. Lowered expectations in microwave cooking. I mean, like I said, I hope that I'm proven wrong about Dan Moore. Very rarely do the Tennessee Titans prove me wrong, but we shall see. I will happily eat all the words. But let me tell you something.
You'll eat crow?
I'll eat crow. But it has to come during the NFL regular season. If you're going to try to come in here during preseason or training camp and saying Dan Moore's locking down Arden Key and Jalen Harrell, we told you this would be a good signing. Yeah, right. like, let's save it for the premier games.
Oh, I never get caught up in preseason and what all that's there, because being that I was in those situations, we all know that doesn't tell you who's going to really do well or not. So let's get on in a real live action and see what's happening, boss.
So Hufanga gets paid a 3-year, up to $45 million deal, which is very interesting. So that must mean that there's some incentives caked in to get it up to $45 million. But if he were to reach the full extent of his incentives and value, that's a $15 million per year deal.
Really good player. I think the health issue is there. He's had some injuries, but man, every time I watch him play, I'm like, man, that guy is a poor man's, watch this, Troy Polamalu. Yes, he is. Yeah, so I like that signing. So that's probably why he got some incentives.
I really love that player.
He's a good player.
And I'm a little surprised that the market wasn't more buzzing with his name, right? Like, I mean, we were talking about...
He injured the season this past year as well, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't remember his injuries. So that was the last 2 years. But, man, when he played, he is all over the place making plays. I love it.
Oh.
Again! Oh, my gosh. With no TV.
He's breaking it. Look at this. Where is... I miss Jackson.
No, I'm breaking this one because it's a VFL.
Yeah.
Another wide receiver off the board, as the Bills are signing former Chargers wide receiver Josh Palmer, 3-year, $36 million deal.
3-year, how much?
$36 million.
Wow. Man, he's getting paid a lot, too. This wide receiver market's crazy.
That was interesting because they didn't re-sign Cooper. Yeah. They went for a younger player. Good quality player. I like them at UT as well.
But here it is again. The Tennessee Titans are spitting in the face of volunteer fans everywhere by not overpaying for Josh Palmer.
I would rather them sign NWI. I love Josh Palmer. I think he's a really solid 3, but I think NWI knows the system better. I think he'd be a better fit here, and I think he'd be more worth the money than overspending for Josh Palmer.
I would agree. I'm here for some NWI coming back.
You know, the versatility, inside, outside, is dependable. Even if you reduce his role and then, he can, go under the radar, then he gets you 9 touchdowns, or, he run down a gunner. This guy, man, I applaud you. Everybody has to have players like that at all positions because everybody can be superstars. So, I really like his value. To be honest, he may not be in this first tier. He should be in the second tier. So, maybe that's what we're waiting on. But I'm afraid I would push him up to first tier if I'm the Titans because I would think Vrabel would bring him there. And we see Vrabel has his guys.
Speaking of premier pass rushers Tennessee Titans have to face this year, Josh Sweat and the Arizona Cardinals reached agreement on a 4-year deal worth $76.4 million, including $41 million guaranteed. Deal negotiated by Drew Rosenhaus, and that is reported by Adam Schefter. So add Josh Sweat to the very long list of premier edge rushers that these tackles have to see.
That's why my neck is hurting, is because the Titans are really stressing me out. I think that's what's happened.
You got a
something in my neck.
You got a Titan-sized knot back there on your neck.
They've made me nervous here, man. I'm really concerned for not only my neck but for them.
Yeah, I mean, woo, buddy.
So PFF put out this top one, or the best ranking the best available free agents after this busy wave, and number one is safety Javon Holland, who is, I think, the Titans.
I think he was also a top
radar.
5 safety, or actually just a top 5 overall free agent in most people's lists. So, he's still out there.
That means he's coming to the Titans.
Yeah.
That's what all this means.
But
they're just showing up the ink and making sure they got all the little details done.
I look at it in safety, and I'm like, man, is that where you want to spend your money? But again, if you have Amani Hooker going out the door, I guess you're just replacing the Amani Hooker contract
After
next
year
with the Javon Holland contract,
and then you can go draft a safety, and then that guy learns for a year, and then you implement him in as a starter. As you kind of mentioned, I drafted, a guy in the mid-round, like I keep saying, your guy, Malachi Moore.
There you go.
Because nobody's talking about him.
Me some
and
Malachi
this dude
Moore.
can play now.
Yeah.
This is the guy, remember, who kicked the ball or whatever against Vanderbilt because they were going to lose. He got mad.
Juwan Jennings?
That's exactly the guys that they need on this team. That guy. Guys like that. Mm-hmm. He was pissed off that we're Alabama and we're not supposed to lose to Vanderbilt in any regard at any time. He was pissed. He's a young guy.
Okay. When we come back, I give you my Tennessee Titans 10 commandments for free agency and fans. This is cover 2 with Blaine Bishop. Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by all Four Season Garage Doors, 615-737-1045. We have a Titans free agency rumor, and this comes from Josina Anderson, who says, I'm told that teams showing preliminary interest in Dre Greenlaw, linebacker of the San Francisco 49ers, include the Broncos, Titans, Texans, and the Cowboys per league sources. The Texans is interesting because they just redid Azeez Al-Shair's contract. They also have Blake Cashman over there. So, like, they have two starting linebackers, if I'm not mistaken. Was Blake Cashman last year? I think so. No, I think he went. Yeah, they have inside linebackers up the butt. Yeah. So is this just her saying that, like, here are some teams that he has connections to, or is this real?
The head coach used to be the DC.
Yeah, like, this is real. So I don't know. But that is reporting from Josina Anderson. But I want to get to talking about the Tennessee Titans and fans. And I got the 10 commandments for Tennessee Titans fans in free agency, Blaine. And so here's where we're going to go. We're going to start off number 1, commandment number 1. Thou shalt have no delusions about signings. So what I mean by this is that what you're paying for, what they've been in the past, is likely what you're getting in the future. If you think that Dan Moore is some lockdown left tackle, I have news for you. He has given up 26 pressures last year, 41 pressures last year, 56 pressures the year before, 39 pressures in 2022, and 48 pressures in 2021. So we're talking about a guy that through 4 years has averaged 184 pressures allowed. So he averages 46 pressures a season. That's what you should be expecting from Dan Moore. Don't have delusions that he's going to come down and lock down all these people. Now, you need to expect more from him because he's getting paid as such.
But that's called delusional.
But you put in, you set an expectation, but with the understanding it's a high expectation.
Well, I mean, why do you expect that he's going to be better than what he was? Now, the fans don't, because they're not going to look up all his stats like that, and they figured that he's supposed to be really good, and he got paid accordingly, and so we expect that. So, man, that's more from a Titans perspective on, man, this is going to be interesting. I'm hoping I am so wrong on all these pressure numbers that you're giving me, that people that have covered the Steelers, because he's shown glimpses of, like, this guy could be really good. So it's there.
Just no consistency.
No consistency. So I'm assuming that they think Bill Callahan can get it out of him. So you just never know. Sometimes it's about fit. Sometimes it's about pay. So we shall see if he lives up to the billing of the pay that he's getting there. But one thing I'll say, thou shalt not covet every big name free agent.
That's on the list.
Oh, it's on your list. Okay.
Yeah, that's on the list. My number 2, I like that one. So that one, thou shalt not covet every big name, is kind of falls under this one for me. Is thou shalt not covet thy opposing team. So this is what I mean by that. This is every year so far, the Tennessee Titans fan base, last year was a little bit different because the Tennessee Titans spent a lot. They would look at the Jacksonville Jaguars spending a lot. They would look at the Cleveland Browns spending a lot. They would look at this and say, why can't we spend money like them? And then what did the Tennessee, and this is what I told them, is that you need to quit pocket watching, because overspending and spending a lot of cash definitely does not yield to sustained success, does not lead to sustained success. It usually means that your team's going to be in the dumps. And what did the Tennessee Titans do last year? Spend a lot of money, and they're picking number 1 overall and have nothing to show for it.
Yeah, they do. The number 1 pick.
The number 1 pick. But thou shalt not covet thy opposing team was my number 10. So that falls in line with what you were saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
And he also, thou shalt not overreact on day 1 of free agency, Zach.
Now, listen, I'm not overreacting. I'm just explaining. But thou shalt not take thy GM's name in vain for spending habits kind of falls into that. So thou shalt not take thy GM's name in vain for spending habits. So there's going to be some overpays. There's going to be some underpays. We'll see. I look at the player, not necessarily the GM right now, especially if Chad Brinker is negotiating the deal. So if he's negotiating the deals as Adam Schefter reported on the Dan Moore deal. Can't blame the GM for that, right? So thou shalt not take thy GM's name in vain.
The GM said, I want him, I like him, do what you can to get him, and you just did what he told you to do.
All right. Thou shalt not say unto thee any raw stats. So what I mean by that is that the people that want to say, like, well, Aaron Rodgers threw for the second most yards. Yeah, but he threw the second most yards on the most attempts and had one of the lowest QBR ratings and one of the lowest yards per attempt. Yeah. So thou shalt not say to thee any raw stats. For like offensive, for people that want to say, well, he had 90 tackles last year. What was his stop rate? What was his missed tackle rate? I don't care about tackles. I want to know about the other stuff. You rush yards. Let's do rush yards over expected. Let's do rush yards per attempt, not just total rush yards. Like, I can go on and on. Don't give me any raw stats. Okay, number 3. Thou shalt honor thy salary cap, but understand it has loopholes. So void years and stuff like that. Like, the cap is real.
I like that one because I remember the cap space.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the cap's real.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But there are loopholes around it. Void years, pushing money back, restructuring, extension. It's all about who's the most
really
creative.
Who's good
but
at
anybody
the job.
that tells you the salary cap is fake or is incorrect.
There are some people who say that.
I know there's people that say that. Well, you got one. You got another one?
I was going to say, thou shalt prepare for roster turnover.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, I'm just going to
got to prepare for a lot of new names, new faces, and new places. I like that one. Remember from whence thy came as thou moves forward is my number 4 commandment. Never forget where you came from. Those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And so never forget
that one.
To learn from your mistakes if you're a fan. Remember when everybody, went crazy over like a practice squad wide receiver. Everybody goes crazy over a practice squad wide receiver every year. Trey McBride was a few years
preseason.
ago. Yeah, preseason. But everybody goes crazy. And when it comes to GMs, it's like, remember when they, drafted Isaiah Wilson with character concerns, or when they signed Andre Dillard thinking they fixed left tackle. Remember thy mistakes.
Well, I'm going to say this then. Thou shalt trust, with quotation marks, Bergonzi and crew. That's what we must do. It's hard because we want to see the now. We want to see the big name fans, and we want to see progress, and we want to see our team do well.
Honor thy contract terminology. Now, this is more of a personal one for me. Oh, wow. But I have, over the years, defined the many terms of free agency season. Contracts, all that stuff, over and over and over again. But this is a good time to remind you that average per year or average annual value does not equal cap hit. So when you see that someone's getting paid $15 million a year, does not mean that they are going to count against the salary cap $15 million this year. I saw someone tweet out that, Dan Moore is getting paid $30 million this year, which means that he carries a $30 million cap hit. That is incorrect. Part of that's going to be the signing bonus that's going to be spread out over the course of the contract. Now, I don't know what the cap hit is going to be, but it's definitely not going to be $30 million. So make sure when you see something, that does not mean cap hit. Cap hit is totally going to be less. It's going to be different, especially in year one. And watch out for how these contracts go. We talked about one the other day, or just a few minutes ago, and I can't remember who it was, but it said up to $45 million. Not $45 million. Up to, with guarantees up to $25 million. That does not mean fully guaranteed money is $25 million. It means they have to earn it over time.
It's whatever was structured, whether it's roster bonus, playing time, or whatever. Up to. Yeah,
up to is so important.
Okay.
Don't commit those contract sins.
Well, I'll go kind of somewhere a little the opposite direction. I'm going to say, thou shalt wait until training camp before panic sets in. Don't let the summer and the signings and the draft until we start seeing them practice.
What about, okay, so you say don't let panic set in until practice.
Yeah, till they start practicing, whether it's, free agent or draft. Yeah.
I like it. Thou shalt not yearn for thy rival's reclamation project. So,
that's
you know, last year it was like I saw a lot of people wanting DJ Shark and Paris Campbell, you know, 2 wide receivers, one from the Colts, one from the Jaguars, because they're like, well, they did it. They maybe over there wasn't good enough. Maybe it's their situation. Our situation could be better. No. The NFL players are telling you what they are more often than not. Do not covet. Thou shalt not yearn for thy rival's reclamation project. So I guess a reclamation project this year would be a Zay Jones maybe from the Jacksonville Jaguars, or I'm trying to think of who's been cut from the Colts. I don't know who's been cut, but like players like that where you know what they are.
Zadarius Smith?
Nah, Zadarius Smith is from the Detroit Lions, so he's not a rival. Right. But Zadarius Smith is still more productive than even Harold Landry was last year.
Right. No, I'm talking about I want to sign him.
You do not break one of the commandments if you want Zadarius Smith. So you're good. Let me look at something real quick. Let's do
man. I'll get my thou shalt not, forget or ignore depth signings.
Yeah.
Which are vital pieces to your team to make sure, everybody else, the superstar, the big names, all do their jobs and, get paid the big dough. So those guys are all valuable pieces. So
I like it. I like it. I like that one. That's a good one. Okay. Thou shalt not steal other analysis as your own. Go do the research yourself, people. There's many sites and many stuff. Don't, just because you heard one analyst say it or one person on the radio say it or one person on TV say it doesn't make it true. The analysis true. You need to make your own decisions.
I have one to that then.
Okay, there you go.
Thou shall always trust in Zach Lyons' stats.
I like it.
Always trusting that. We got a breaking news?
Well, he's about to go somewhere, but I think we may have breaking news.
I felt it.
We do.
I felt it.
It's breaking Titans news.
What?
Breaking Titans news.
Holland. I'm guessing.
We love it. We love it here in this house. Defensive tackle Sebastian Joseph Day is signing back with the Titans on a one-year deal worth up to $7.5 million with $5 million guaranteed deal in a deal negotiated by Drew Rosenhaus and Sean O'Dare. So there you go. Which is about where we had it pegged. Now, you wanted to do a 2-year deal on Friday, but it looks like the Titans just nailed it down on a 1-year deal and paid him a little bit of money if he earns it. He earns it. Yeah, so great signing.
Yeah, I like solid player. Those are what we're talking about, depth piece guys that are very vital to the team, no doubt.
All right. Thou shalt not, and this is my last one because I think we got to 10. Okay. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy players. And what I mean by this is that, people were trying to say that Kenneth Murray is just as good as Azeez Al-Shaair last year. That is not true. So, let's just, you got to call it like you see it. And, don't try to talk up another player, convincing yourself that he's better than a player you let go, because more often than not, he's probably not.
That's because they like him.
I know. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy players.
Oh, I'm trying to think of one more. Maybe thou shalt hopefully get the elite play out of receivers that are getting paid elite money.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Wow. Okay, so real quick, my 10 commandments. Thou shalt have no delusions about signings. Thou shalt not say unto thee any raw stats. Thou shalt honor thy salary cap, but understand its loopholes. Remember from whence thy came, as thou moves forward. Honor thy contract terminology. Thou shalt not take thy GM's name in vain for spending habits. Thou shalt not yearn for thy rival's reclamation project. Thou shalt not steal other analysis as your own. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy players. Thou shalt not covet thy opposing team. So there you go. That would be your top 10 right there.
We got a couple callers, too.
We do. We do got a couple callers, and we got a little bit of information. So first I'm going to go to Pat in Murfreesboro wants to talk about Dan Moore. Pat, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hello, fellas. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I'm a lifelong Steelers fan, and I wanted to get my little 10 cents on Dan Moore.
Oh, yeah.
He's very much undervalued in the Steelers community. He played every game but 2. But to his credit, he's more of a pass blocker than a run blocker. And with the Steelers going to the run first mentality. He just didn't fit the scheme. Then you got to understand he had to deal with one of the worst offensive coordinators in NFL history with Matt Canada. And the offensive line coaches have not been that good. Just look at Kevin Dotson. Wasn't good, trade him, and he became one of the best guards. I think there's still room for him to grow and learn, especially with him being young. So I would look at this as a good signing for the Titans.
All right. I enjoy your optimism, Pat, and I appreciate it because maybe we have been too hard, so we always need to hear the other side. I'm sure former Steeler and on the morning show this morning, I'm sure Ramon Foster will be singing the praises of Dan Moore. They're Steelers offensive line brethren. They got a strong brotherhood. So it's always good to have it. I think there's upside there. I just struggle sometimes when the Tennessee Titans finding players that actually reach that upside for them in free agency. Maybe this new regime won't have the sins of the past thrust upon them, but we shall see. So I'm always in wait and see mode. Just real quick, Connor Hughes says, sources, the Titans are among the teams interested in quarterback Russell Wilson. So Mr. Unlimited could be here in Nashville at any moment. Who knows? And we got Grady Jarrett. Go ahead.
So Grady Jarrett, who was released today by Atlanta, already finds a new home, a 3-year, $43.5 million deal with the Chicago Bears, who continue to spend a lot of money so far in this free agency.
There you go. Let's go to Todd in Clarksville, who wants to talk Tennessee Titans. Todd, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Well, I would like to get into it. First of all, good afternoon, fellas.
Hey.
But I'd like to get into the situation where all this guaranteed money up front, it seems like to me, I don't understand how that works, but to protect everybody involved, the player to still have incentives to play and to protect the team that buys them, why wouldn't it be based on a certain percentage of whatever the overall contract is? Because like you just mentioned, the gentleman that's getting $5 million for $7.5 million, if he never plays, up to standard or gets hurt or whatever the cases may be, he's still guaranteed $5 million. In my eyes, you're paying for past performances.
Yeah, different contracts and stuff like that, Todd, happen. I mean, there's some that are, that have incentives built in for number of games played, right? So, and what happens is, let me try to make this as easy as possible. So there's per game incentives. So let's say, Blaine, that you signed a $5 million deal and you have get paid $50 million for 10 games. Or sorry, $50,000 for 10 games, right? So that gets you $500,000 incentives. The Titans have promised you that. That's called a likely to be earned incentive. That's just saying that last year, before you signed this contract, you played 10 games and then you got hurt. So they're saying we think you'll at least play 10 games. So here's $500,000. In any game you play over that, you get $50,000. If you play less than 9 games, the Titans get a salary cap benefit the following year. If you play more than 10 games, you get paid that $50,000 per game, but that gets hit on next year's contract in a salary cap hit. So they have things like what he is saying. It's kind of spread out a little bit differently, but unfortunately the NFL's gotten to a point where guaranteed money, they've gotten wise to how the NBA gets paid. Guaranteed money is king, and if you don't offer guaranteed money, you're not going to have any players.
Well, yeah. Considering, what's going to be guaranteed is based off really the length of the contract. So you sign a 4-year deal, you're going to be here 2 years whether you get hurt or not. I mean, just think about that, especially this range of money here. And sometimes you just got to eat it when a guy gets hurt in this first year. And then the next year, you're hoping he comes back and he'll be decent. And after that, then everything's all bet. So really, they're always trying to combat with, guaranteeing the amount of money, at least where you think he's worth for a shorter period of time than actually the length of the contract. So that's kind of where we're at today.
Yeah. Let's go to Tommy in Murfreesboro who wants to talk about Dan Moore. Tommy, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
I got another one. Thou shalt not disagree with probably the number one evaluator of offensive linemen in the NFL, and that's Bill Callahan. I don't think they would take Dan Moore if Bill Callahan didn't think that he could really, be a player. So I'm a little bit more optimistic than some people are, just because I know Bill Callahan had a lot to do with the decision, and I'm gonna believe in him, knowing what it takes to be a great offensive lineman. Thanks.
Thanks. At some point, we do have to call it out like we see it. I hope Bill Callahan proves me wrong, but he didn't prove me wrong about Jerron Christian, Leroy Watson, NPF, John Ajuka, or Jalen Dunkett. So year one, Bill Callahan was not great. Maybe Dan Moore is a different breed than those guys because, like the previous caller at the top, the previous caller said that he was well respected at Pittsburgh and he played all these games. At Pittsburgh, only missed 2 games over the course of his career, according to the Steelers fan that called in. Mm-hmm. Maybe because he's that kind of player, which is totally different than those players. Maybe he's able to get something out of them. But right now, we do have to say that here in Tennessee, sometimes when coaches get here at Tennessee, something's in the water cooler up at St. Thomas Sports Park. I don't know.
Yeah, Bill Callahan's hadn't lived up to the reputation of what he's been into the league. So we shall see if he can work with a 4th-round pick and see if he can get him to improve and to be elite. You see that he has it in him. It's just now you just want to see it consistently.
Well, much like the coaches. I mean, much like these other coaches like Frank Bush and Tracy Rocker and stuff like that, like Tyke Tolbert, Randy Jordan, all these coaches with extreme pedigree. You got some players. Now, listen, some of it's on the players, like we've said, but Absolutely. It is put up, shut up time when it comes to some of these, things because they're not here for long, right? I mean, we all know that this isn't just a lame duck head coach right now. This is a entire coaching staff coaching for their job on the line. Mm-hmm. This isn't just Brian Callahan coaching with his job on the line. This is Denard Wilson with his job on the line. This is Bill Callahan with his job on the line. In fact, maybe even legacy. When we come back, we'll talk more about the free agency and all that kind of stuff when we get more news breaking. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors, 615-737-1045, because it's the last call for phone calls if you want to get in, talk about Titans free agency. I mean, we just got told that the Packers paid Aaron Banks a 4-year, $77 million deal. 49ers fans are probably saying right now, good luck on that. Because, I mean, that is insane money for a guard. I still would like for the Tennessee Titans to maybe invest in Brandon Scherf, the former guard from the Jacksonville Jaguars, who also came from the Commanders back in the day. But, man, the Scherf would make me feel a lot better about where this offensive line is heading. And I will say this. There is one thing that's not making me feel good about the Dan Moore stuff, and I'll tell you that here in just a second. But first, join 105 The Zone for a 2025 Golf Classic presented by Ferguson on Monday, June 9th at Nashville Golf and Athletic Club. Located in the heart of Cool Springs, this historic golf course features breathtaking panoramic views of the beautiful Middle Tennessee countryside. The 2025 Golf Classic will be highlighted with great food, cocktails, prizes, and special guests. Purchase your team today and choose between 2 flights, 8 a.m. or 1 p.m., and spend the day teeing off with us. For more information or to purchase a team, visit 1045thezone.com. Blaine, a lot of people... Okay, go ahead.
ESPN gave us an A grade for the Dan Moore Jr. sign.
Yeah.
You should have
was
said your
was that A for the other word for butt?
I love your... You what? No,
Yeah.
really? Or is it because he played for the Steelers? See?
Yeah, see? Maybe it's that little Steelers rub right there. Okay, here's what I got.
Hey,
So we heard Connor Hughes recently just say the Tennessee Titans are one of the teams that are really interested in Russell Wilson. Okay, so this would make me feel so much worse about the Dan Moore signing. Okay, this quote right here, this is from Albert Breer. With Ronnie Stanley off the market, my sense is some tackle-hungry teams will prefer offensive tackle Dan Moore Jr. to Minnesota's Cam Robinson. Breer wrote via his Monday morning quarterback lead on SI.com. He's younger and cleaner from a football character standpoint. He also was criticized a bunch towards the end of the year, but Pittsburgh people will tell you that the handful of sacks he gave up were actually on Russell Wilson, not Moore himself. So you're going to sign Dan Moore, then bring the quarterback in that was quote-unquote responsible for all the sacks.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess we're just in
wait-and-see mode, but I mean, that's not going to make me feel better about the Dan Moore signing.
Look, I like Russell Wilson, and, hey, if we're going to bring him in for a veteran backup at this point, I'm good with that. But to think we're going to recreate something that they used to be at this point in time, that's why I don't like any of the veterans. I like them as players, but I don't think that's not where we're at. If I was Russell Wilson, I'm like, man, I must have no option. I got to go to the Titans. They won 3 games. He shouldn't even be here. He should be trying to play for
He should go to the Colts.
Right.
The Colts are interested in Daniel Jones. He should go over there. I mean, obviously the Steelers are still available too, but
veteran quarterback here, man. Aaron Rodgers, none of them. No, you go young, proven type of players. I don't want.
What if they go veteran as a backup, but then go get a rookie? Would you be okay with that?
Oh, well, yeah. But, I mean, veteran, tell Russ you're bringing him in to be a backup?
Well, I'm not talking about Russ.
No, when you say veteran, I mean, it's only so many options out there still left.
Yeah, I think when Blaine's using veteran, he's talking about,
guys who are proven in this league.
Yeah, not the Drew Locks or anything like that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Not the Mac Jones and Zach Wilson. The guys that could be clearly. But here's the thing. Where's the competition? Right? Because, I mean, are those guys going to be able to really push Cam Ward if you were to draft Cam Ward 1 overall? I mean, where's the competition come from? Are you really expecting Will Levis and Zach Wilson to push them? Because I don't know. I mean, that's just kind of where I'm at is I
think they can because of their ilk to still prove that they can be a starter in this league. That's their motivation. Not someone's past history of a resume of having a lot of success, but with, some teams or, a franchise that was there. That's why I kind of like those guys. They are going to come in and they have talent. It's just having them come together. Maybe they're with the wrong organization. Maybe it was their play. Maybe they figured some things out now later in their career as far as, 5th, 6th year guys. So that's kind of why I like that. And you get to see just who's as talented, arm talent compared to the other. And sometimes that rattle the cages a little bit from a young quarterback standpoint. See how he handles the pressure.
Is your Russell Wilson Jacoby Brissett, if he were to sign? Is Russell Wilson your, I guess, Kirk Cousins, I guess, in that situation? A guy that starts for like 8 weeks.
Well, Brissett is a little bit different. And here's why I say he's different. See, everybody's just putting him in this veteran. He's a little bit different in that he's done bridge before. He was never really the guy ever with an organization, maybe one time. So he's always been kind of that backup bridge guy. He's never been the guy. Well, Russell Wilson was the guy. So to me, you're playing, and why would Russell Wilson, 1.5 really? $2 million? Like, oh, so you're gonna sign him for 7?
Is he gonna get that again? Yeah, right?
Is he gonna sign him for 7?
Because what is him signing for like 7 or 8 fully guaranteed tell you, Blaine? Because, I mean, remember Tony Pollard, you said on Tony Pollard followed the contract. What is the number you think that tells you that Russell Wilson is your main starter for until he gets the long leash on the contract?
Length of the deal.
Gotcha.
See, that Justin Fields, that's why he didn't go back to the Steelers. They were only offering him a 1-year deal. He's like, well, you can bench me for that. I mean, 1 year, $10 million.
Yeah.
But if you sign me for a 3-year deal, now you're locked in. We're locked in. 2 of those are going to be guaranteed. You're going to have to give me guaranteed money. So to me, Russell Wilson, that should be not even on his radar. If he can't find somebody, I'd sit and wait if I'm Russell Wilson for a playoff contending type or really good team to then somebody get hurt and then you give me a call.
I mean, if you're the Colts, and I go back to the Colts because they've been linked to Daniel Jones, wouldn't you want Russell Wilson over Daniel Jones if you're the Colts?
I would.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't know where they really stand with the
I think it's
quarterback.
the problem with me with Russell Wilson is more about where the Tennessee Titans are.
Right.
And what Russell Wilson can kind of still be for a good team.
Right.
And the Tennessee Titans are not a good team.
Right. That's what I said. Why would you even be interested?
Yeah.
That means you have nothing? Well, wait then.
Wait. Just wait. At that point, like, I know we make fun of it, I know we don't like it. Mac Jones really does make a lot of sense for this Tennessee Titans team.
Yep.
It's just going to be unbearable, and I don't want to think about it. Get your sick bags ready from the airport. I'll pick up a bunch of them.
You don't want to roll tide?
I don't. No, I'm good. That'll be it for
Mac
us.
Jones!
3HL's up next. This has been Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone with you on this free agency. We'll see you tomorrow. Catch you up on all the news as well. And in the meantime.
And in between time.
Peace.